Hey guys, Eternize here. Today I'm going to share the best and most valuable things I've learned throughout my 18 years of making music. These are lessons that took me years to figure out and perhaps even longer to realize the importance of. I've tried to really condense it down to the most impactful lessons, and so without further ado, these are the 5 best lessons I can pass on to you as a fellow producer. When you start out producing music, you want to do as much volume as you can. And the reason is very simple. I firmly believe that volume will give you way faster growth. There's a saying that your first 100 tracks don't matter. It's harsh, but freeing at the same time, because at that point it's just about producing, it's about getting the reps in, and not so much about the quality. I want to expand on this by telling you about the pottery class. I really love this story. So it's about a pottery teacher, and he splits his class into 2 groups for the year. The first group, he tells his students, you only have one job this year, and that is to create one single perfect pot. The second group, he tells the students, your job is to make as many pots as you can this entire year. And so the students begin, and the first group is working on the same pot day after day, trying to perfect every little thing about it. And group number 2, they really make horrible pots in the beginning because they're just trying to make as many as they can. But then we get to the end of the year and the teacher is comparing the 2 groups and the pots they made. And this is the lesson. Not only did the second group make infinitely more pots, the pots they made the entire second half of the year were also better than the group that only focused on perfecting one single pot. And it's such a beautiful story because it shows that with enough reps, quality will come. And it's true for so many things, including making music. I have a bad habit of spending too much time trying to perfect everything. And that's not only with music, but I am so convinced that volume trumps perfection. So if you're interested in faster growth, choose the second group. Just like the pots, your music will suck in the beginning, but with enough reps, quality will come, I promise. Would you believe me if I told you that you could instantly become a 10% better producer by just picking sounds in your project a little more wisely? Well, that's the concept of sound selection, and that's very real. Sound selection is not so much about artistic choices and style, but more about the integrity and sonic characteristics of the sounds you choose for your project. To put it very simply, there are good sounds and there are bad sounds. Let me give you an example. Here's an example of a good clap and a bad clap. The good clap is clear sounding, it's nice and present and upfront. It's a dry sample, meaning unprocessed. It's full spectrum, so nothing has been taken away. It's dynamic, and then it's mono-compatible. The bad clap is clearly processed. It's heavily clipped, so it's going to be hard to get the dynamics back. It's distorting. It has some weird stereo effect on it, which also makes it phasey and mono, so overall it has really bad sound integrity. Now, the bad clap may sound more interesting because it's stereo and it has this other processing on it, but it's still a bad sound. It would be bad sound selection to include this in your track because it would perform poorly. And of course, this is true for any sound in your project, not only samples. So think of this when you choose your lead sounds, your low end, your crashes, your impacts. This is part of the reason why sounds in my lead pack work so well. It's the meticulous sound selection. Everything sounds clear and upfront and has full sound integrity. The thing about sound selection is that it takes time to learn what to look for. It really is a skill you have to develop, but hopefully this example has shown you that the more raw and more clear sounds and often more simple sounds are the ones with the highest sound integrity. Alright, this is a common one and one that I see in most of the tracks that are sent to me. You are trying to pack too many elements into a single track. Too many elements can kill a mix. It can take away clarity, it can take away presence, it can create problems that fewer sounds would not have caused. Generally, it's a bad idea to have too many elements playing at one given time. You can make as complex of a track as you want, but just don't have it all playing at the same time. I understand why this is a common issue. It's because you're trying to fill out the track, because it feels empty and perhaps not loud enough, so you stuff it with more stuff. This is the same thing with the leads. I hear you guys are using up to 15 layers for your leads. I get it, I did do that myself early on, but the thing is, it's the wrong way to go about it. Like I said, it can take away clarity and presence, and in the worst cases it can cause phasing issues. What I suggest you do instead is keep the elements to a minimum. Get rid of all the fillers and keep only what's important. Now, if your track feels empty or not loud enough, try to solve it with mixing. Make sure that every individual element is loud and proud, and create contrast between wide and narrow. Now, if something still feels like it's lacking, you probably do need that extra layer. But don't use extra layers to compensate for mixing. Less really is more, so keep it simple. Let me present you with another concept that will simplify your mixing process and very likely give you a better sounding mix. A static mix is a mix where you only touch the volume faders and the pan knobs. And if you just get good at hitting the right volume levels for all your sounds, you can mix 80% of a track doing just that. The reason why this is so effective is that it forces us to dial in the right levels first. Many of us are reaching for plugins to begin mixing right away, but a lot of times that's not actually what's needed. A lot of times setting the correct level is all that's needed. And also, if plugins actually are needed for the mixing, you'd be surprised about how little effort it takes once the levels are correctly set first. I cannot tell you how much I've struggled with mixing leads, all to find out that once the levels are set correctly, it takes so little processing to make them sound right. No need for complex EQing on every layer or any other processing for that matter. Just levels, 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 levels. There's a bunch of other reasons why setting levels first is a good decision, but the thing I found to be most impactful is the fact that it simplifies the mixing process. So try this one out and tell me if it's a game changer. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned how reference tracks have been the single most impactful learning tool in my career, and I believe that to be very true. I have learned more from reference tracks than from any person, any website, any video on the internet. The cool thing about reference tracks is that it's widely available to everybody, and it's totally customizable to your needs, right? If I'm interested in how D-Block and Estefan are mixing their tracks, I can pull up one of their tracks and start analyzing. I can compare the tonal balance, the width, the highs, the lows. I can isolate the kicks and compare that to mine. I can mono it and see what exists in the middle. I can solo the sides. You have so many options of pulling information from professional tracks and most importantly learn from that information. I think reference tracks are much more utilitarian than just to be used as a rough guideline for levels in your project. And this is one of the things that we're really diving into in my upcoming masterclass, because I really believe that you, the same as I have, can learn a lot from analyzing professional tracks. Alright guys, those were my most valuable lessons from 18 years of making music. Do you have comments or anything to add? Put it in the comments below. Also, this is your last chance to upload your demo to my website before we do the first demo session. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.